Hello students, how are you today? I hope all of you are in a good conditions. Thank you for clicking this video and I'd like to say welcome to the reading class. In this lesson, we are going to study 2 points. The first is the definitions of reading and then we are going to discuss also why reading is important to be learned. Okay, let's start the lessons. We start from point number 1, the definitions of reading. Now, I'd like to ask you, what comes into your mind when you hear the words of reading? Okay, every one of us must have different definitions of reading, but here I list down 5 points which I group into 3 groups of opinions that comes into your mind when you hear the words of reading. The first is some of you perhaps remember about the reading materials when you hear the words of reading, such as text, passage, books. And then some of you also remember about the basic process of reading when you hear the words of reading, such as staring at the words in a passage or pronunciation practice, because some lecturers or some teachers ask the students to practice pronunciation while they are reading. And then the third opinion, some of you will also think about the basic processes of the reading, such as thinking in understanding the message of the passage. So those are 3 opinions that mainly come to students when they hear the words of reading. But what the theory actually said about reading? Now, I'd like to guide you to reading research, and in this discussion related to the reading research, we are going to define the real definitions of the reading process. Well, from all the reading research in decades, so there are so many reading research in decades, I'd like to conclude 2 perspectives of reading definitions here. The first, reading defined as a process of psychology. This is the first definitions of reading. Reading is a process of psychology. Why it is said in that way? Because when you do reading, you are understanding, you try to understand the message in the reading materials by using your cognitions and metacognitions. And you know, students, cognitions and metacognition is a part of your thinking process. So, reading definitions as a process of psychology means that you use your thinking process, especially in the parts of cognitions and metacognitions, to understand and to comprehend the reading materials. When you are able or success in comprehending the reading materials, you are going to save all the informations or the knowledge in a place named memory. And memory in your brain are defined into short-term memory and long-term memory. So this is the first definitions of reading. Reading is defined as a process of psychology related to your cognitions and your memory storage. Now, we are going to the second definitions of reading. The second definitions of reading is defined as a process of linguistics. As a process of linguistics is related to the reading material or the passage. You know, passage, text, or book is a product of language. That's why it is also defined as a process of linguistics. When it is defined as a process of linguistics, it means that all the readers must have the capabilities in the text structure. And if we try to think deeper about the text structure itself is related to the text style. You know, passages are structured differently one to the other, such as in narrative, descriptive, argumentative, and the others. And then you need also the capabilities in the basic passage structure, such as topic sentences, up to the concluding and summarizing. Still in the linguistics processes of reading, you also have enough vocabulary in reading. So students, the second definitions of reading process is reading defined as a linguistics process. Well, students, I suggest you to search deeper about these reading process definitions, and here I list down some of the experts of the reading research, such as Paul van den Broek, Gomlexis up to Kaivan Fanha and Kusuma Rastianti from Indonesia. And students, here I also list down some sources, academic sources that you may visit to search the scientist and the topic, such as Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and Semantic Scholar. Remember, students, that finally we got the definitions of reading, that reading is a process of not only psychology but also linguistic process as a complex process. Now, let me show you the applications of how psychology processes and linguistic processes happens. For example, here I provide you a passage entitled The Mask, a New Basic Needs. And you see that this passage is quite long. Okay, every readers will give a different response in case of reading this kind of passage. Some of you probably will directly read it and then you directly think of it, try to get the comprehensions. And if you do that, it means that you do the reading firstly from your cognitions or from the part of psychology processes. But there's also some people who use strategic or guidance, such as try to find out the topic. You also try to find out the structure, such as topic sentences, supporting sentences, and then try to see the relationship between topic and supporting. And then some of you also will learn how to summarize the passage up to how to make the conclusion of the passage. Well, students, when you try to comprehend the passage by guidance based on the text structure, it means that you do the reading from the process of linguistics. So what can we say about this reality is both of psychology processes and linguistic processes in reading are inseparable. So they are interrelated one to the other. Even you do the reading mainly from the process of linguistics, but still you have to use your cognitions or your thinking process as the motor, as the leader of the comprehensions processes. Well, students, this is a very is a very truth. This is a fact and a reality that we have to accept, that reading is a combination of psychology and linguistic processes. Now, from all of the explanation previously that we have learned or we have got, we come to conclusions that reading is thought. So reading is thought. Why reading is thought? Because we want to learn how to comprehend the passage better. It means that reading is one principle knowledge that need to be learned. Okay, now if we are talking about reading lessons, there are so many material about reading that we have to learn. And here I just show you the examples, 4 of them, such as finding theme and topic, determine the topic sentences, identifying the supporting sentences, up to how to summarize and concluding the passage. Okay, students, so those are the explanations of the 2 points that I promise you that you will get from this video. The first is the definitions of reading, and then the second is the discussions of why reading is an important material to be learned. The conclusions from this video is, the first that you have to remember, reading is a cognitive process. So this is not an eyes is working or activities. So when you read, it means that you work psychologically, you try to comprehend it. And then the second, reading is important to be taught as a guidance for each comprehensions. And the last, this is the most important things that you have, you need to read. You need to build your reading habit. Reading is a must because it gives you so many benefits, especially give you additional knowledge and informations. Okay, so at the end, again and again, I'd like to remind you, don't forget to read. As a student, you really need to do reading. Okay, students, I hope this video is quite useful for you, especially in the discussion of reading definitions and why reading is important to be learned for you as a student. Okay, I think that's all for this video. Thank you for joining me in this video. See you at the next video, and please don't forget to read. Bye bye.